Welcome to Wisdom and Wealth, a channel dedicated to helping you cultivate inner peace and lasting prosperity, especially designed for those of us navigating life's second act. Many of us have experienced the challenges of dealing with difficult people, and today we're focusing on a particularly draining dynamic: narcissism. This video delves into 7 subtle signs that you've quietly triumphed over a narcissist's influence, even if you haven't consciously recognized it. We'll explore each sign's spiritual significance and how it reflects an inner shift in your power. But before we dive in, if you find value in this kind of content, please consider subscribing to Wisdom and Wealth. We're building a community here focused on wisdom and tools that can help you navigate any challenge. Liking this video and hitting the notification bell will ensure you never miss new insights. A river never argues with the rock that stands in its path. It flows around it, gently reshaping its journey until the rock's edges erode and the current passes unhindered. True victory in life, especially over a narcissist, is rarely a loud, dramatic confrontation. It's not about grand displays or explosive arguments. Instead, it's found in the quiet, unwavering strength of someone who no longer feels the need to prove their worth or engage in needless battles. This video explores how to find that quiet strength within yourself, so that a narcissist has no power over you, because your calm washes over their anger like a waterfall on stone. When facing a narcissist, many of us fall into a well-worn trap, becoming ensnared in their toxic patterns. We feel an overwhelming need to win the argument, to expose their manipulations, to fight for our truth. But the paradox is this: the moment you stop struggling to prove your worth to them, to justify your actions, is the very moment you achieve victory. The narcissist thrives on the emotional energy you give them, the frustration, the anger, the need to defend yourself. Without that energy, their carefully constructed illusion of power withers and collapses. A Zen proverb beautifully illustrates this point: the one who conquers himself is greater than the one who defeats 1,000 enemies in battle. If you think that is interesting, subscribe to this Buddhist doctrine channel. This isn't about aggression, it's about inner mastery, about freeing yourself from the need for external validation. True victory comes from within. Understanding this paradox is the first step towards reclaiming your power and finding peace in the face of narcissistic behavior. The narcissist's grip extends far beyond your immediate interactions. They seek to control not just your actions, but also your thoughts, your emotions, and your very sense of self. They don't use physical chains that you can see, but rather invisible strings of manipulation, fear, and doubt. These strings are woven into the fabric of your mind, creating a web of dependency and self-doubt. In Buddhist thought, liberation comes not from destroying the other person, but from destroying the hold they have over you, from cutting those invisible strings. The power you give them is the means to control you. And here lies the hidden truth, and what you'll achieve in this video. You can achieve victory over a narcissist without even realizing you've done so. Today, let's explore 7 subtle yet profound signs that indicate you've already achieved this victory, even if you didn't notice the precise moment it happened. You can support this channel and my work by liking or subscribing. With each sign, we'll delve into its spiritual meaning, the inner transformation it reflects, and how it quietly changes the balance of power forever. And remember, this journey is about you and reclaiming your inherent worth. One of the key indications that you've successfully navigated the turbulent waters of narcissism is that their words no longer penetrate your spirit. A narcissist often crafts their words like arrows, meticulously designed to wound, provoke, or manipulate. In the past, a single phrase from them could linger in your mind for days, replaying endlessly, each repetition cutting deeper than the last. The sting of their insults, the weight of their accusations, would consume your thoughts and affect your mood. Now, however, you'll notice that their words meet your mind, but they no longer pierce your spirit. They speak, but the old sting is gone. You hear them, but you no longer feel the overwhelming urge to defend yourself, to justify your actions, or to engage in a futile argument. In Buddhist teaching, this is likened to sitting peacefully by the roadside, watching clouds pass overhead. You see them, you acknowledge their presence, but you don't try to hold on to them or fight against them. Their insults, their accusations, their passive-aggressive remarks become just that, passing clouds in the vast expanse of your inner sky. The narcissist's power stems from your emotional reaction. When your mind no longer dances to the tune they play, you effectively remove their instrument of control. Silence, in this context, becomes your shield, deflecting their attacks and protecting your inner peace. A seeker once asked a wise master, "How do I know when the storm has truly passed?" The master replied, "When the lightning flashes and you no longer feel fear, only awareness." This is equally true when dealing with a narcissist. The storm of their negativity may still rage, but you stand in calm awareness, untouched by its destructive force. If you are finding this video helpful, please consider subscribing. One of a narcissist's most insidious tactics is to keep you in a constant state of explaining, defending your every action, justifying your feelings, and proving your intentions. They create an endless courtroom drama, where you are perpetually the defendant and they are the self-appointed judge. No matter what you say or do, you can never seem to satisfy their demands or gain their approval. Another significant sign that you've achieved victory over a narcissist is the quiet, internal decision to stop explaining yourself. You come to the profound realization that those who truly understand you require no proof, no constant justification. And those who demand constant proof, those who are always skeptical and critical, will never truly understand, regardless of how much you try to explain. In Zen thought, the persistent need to explain is often a manifestation of attachment, an attachment to the idea of being seen as right, of gaining validation from others. When you release this attachment, you remove the hook that the narcissist has anchored in your heart. Explanations, in this dynamic, become fuel for the narcissist's control. When you stop supplying them with that fuel, you starve their power and dismantle the illusion that they are somehow owed an answer. There is inner peace and a cessation of the constant struggle. A wise monk was once falsely accused of wrongdoing by a merchant. The monk simply bowed his head and said, "Perhaps you are right." The merchant was left confused and powerless, because his intended argument had no opponent, no one to fight against. You'll be glad you did and your friends will thank you. One of the most liberating signs that you've moved beyond the narcissist's control is when their approval feels utterly meaningless to you. In the past, even a small, fleeting compliment from them could feel like a ray of sunlight breaking through a dense cloud cover. You might have worked tirelessly, sacrificing your own peace and well-being, to earn even a crumb of their validation. Their praise became a precious commodity, fueling your sense of worth and driving your actions. The third sign that you've achieved victory is when their approval no longer stirs your heart. You no longer actively seek it, and when it comes, a rare occurrence, perhaps, it feels empty, devoid of any real significance. Buddhist wisdom reminds us that praise and blame are merely echoes in the wind. The truly wise do not chase after one or hide from the other. They recognize the impermanent nature of both and remain grounded in their own inner values. When their approval loses its power over you, so, too, does their disapproval. You step into true independence of spirit, guided by your own internal compass rather than the shifting moods and arbitrary standards of someone who once controlled you. A painter once brought his artwork to a Zen master for critique. The master simply said, "If you can walk away with the same peace, feeling the same way about it, whether I say it is beautiful or ugly, then you are truly free." One sign you're healing is when you can recognize and observe their manipulative patterns without getting emotionally entangled in them. In the early stages of the relationship, you likely reacted to their every move, every subtle manipulation, every emotional outburst. The guilt trips, the silent treatments, the sudden fits of anger, each one triggered a strong emotional response within you. Now, however, you find yourself able to observe their patterns with a sense of detached curiosity, like a scholar carefully reading an ancient manuscript. You understand the game they're playing, but you no longer feel the overwhelming need to participate, to defend yourself, or to react emotionally. This is a sign of increasing mindfulness, a growing awareness of your own inner state. The space between stimulus and response has widened, allowing their actions to pass through you without disturbing your inner stillness. When you can clearly name the pattern, you are no longer trapped inside it. You transform from an unwitting participant in their drama into an objective observer. And in Zen philosophy, the observer holds the true power. A wise fisherman once told a novice, "When you can clearly see the net, you will not swim into it." By recognizing the narcissist's manipulative net, you no longer become entangled in its threads. You can navigate the situation with awareness and choose a different path. Don't forget to subscribe before proceeding. One of the most freeing indications of your progress is when you can walk away, physically or emotionally, without feeling the weight of guilt pressing on your chest. Narcissists are often masters of weaving guilt into the very air you breathe, making you believe that leaving them, setting boundaries, or choosing your own well-being is an act of profound cruelty. They manipulate your sense of obligation, playing on your empathy and compassion to keep you trapped in their web of control. The fifth sign that you have overcome their influence is when you can walk away, either physically or emotionally, without the crushing weight of guilt. The ability to choose your own path, to prioritize your own well-being, without being paralyzed by guilt, is a clear indication that you have broken free from their control. In Buddhist practice, compassion extends to all beings, including oneself. You cannot effectively care for others if you are constantly sacrificing your own well-being. Leaving an unhealthy dynamic, setting firm boundaries, and prioritizing your own peace are not acts of selfishness, but rather acts of wisdom and self-preservation. Guilt is the chain that keeps many bound to narcissistic relationships. When that chain finally falls away, you are free to choose peace over chaos, self-respect over manipulation, without hesitation. A Zen master once said to a student, "The bird does not ask permission from the branch before it flies away." In the same way, you leave when the moment calls for it, without apology, without seeking validation from those who would seek to hold you back. If you're ready to embrace that freedom, and create a life of lasting wealth, both internal and external, subscribe to Wisdom and Wealth. Another profound sign that you've moved beyond the narcissist's influence is when your dominant feeling towards them shifts from anger to indifference. While it may seem counterintuitive, anger is still a form of connection, a residual tie that binds you to the other person. It signifies that they still hold a place in your emotional space, that their actions still have the power to trigger a strong reaction within you. Indifference, in this context, is not coldness or apathy, but rather liberation. It signifies that the fire they once lit inside you no longer burns. You see them not as a malevolent villain to be fought, but as a passing figure on the road of your life, someone whose actions no longer have the power to ignite your emotions or dictate your mood. Indifference is the final breaking of the emotional tie, the severing of the cord that once connected you. Without your emotional energy, whether positive or negative, they cannot thrive, they cannot exert their control. A weary traveler once dropped a heavy stone he had been carrying for miles. At first, he simply felt the absence of its weight. But soon after, he forgot that he had ever carried it at all. That is the nature of true release, of complete and utter indifference. In that peace, you can find wealth in your life through better experiences and mindset. Do yourself a favor and subscribe. The final, and perhaps most powerful, sign that you have truly triumphed over a narcissist is this: your life begins to feel naturally lighter, clearer, and more peaceful without their constant presence. You notice more laughter, deeper breaths, and longer stretches of calm and contentment. You stop bracing yourself for the next attack, the next manipulation, because it no longer comes. The weight that you had been carrying for so long begins to lift, allowing you to move forward with greater ease and joy. In Buddhism, peace is considered the highest victory, the ultimate goal of spiritual practice. It signifies that the external enemy has been defeated by the wisdom within, that you have cultivated an inner sanctuary that cannot be disturbed by external forces. A narcissist's presence is akin to a constant, oppressive storm. When the storm has finally passed, you realize that the sun had always been there, shining brightly, even amidst the darkness. It was only hidden by the clouds of their negativity and control. A wise master once said to his student, "The day you no longer wait for the storm to return is the day the season has truly changed." That is the essence of true liberation, the realization that the darkness has passed, and the light has returned to stay. Let's continue to learn together, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any videos. Defeating a narcissist, in the truest sense, is not about breaking them, shaming them, or forcing them to admit defeat. It is about reclaiming your own mind, your own heart, and your own spirit. It is about becoming so deeply rooted in your own sense of peace and self-worth that no storm, no matter how fierce, can uproot you. This video helped you identify the stages to that process. In Zen and Buddhist philosophy, the true warrior is not the one who inflicts the most damage, but the one who ends the battle by stepping away from the battlefield entirely. You win when you no longer play their game. You win when their voice becomes a distant echo in your mind. You win when your life becomes truly your own again, free from the influence of their manipulation and control. This kind of victory is not loud or boastful, it is silent, steady, and irreversible. And perhaps the most liberating part is this: you may not even realize the exact moment it happened, because by then, you were already too busy living in peace and joy. Thanks for joining Wisdom and Wealth today. I hope you enjoyed this exploration of signs that you have, indeed, triumphed over narcissism. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more insightful content designed to help you live a richer, more fulfilling life. Just click the subscribe button below and tap that notification bell so you never miss an update. Also, feel free to leave a comment and share your thoughts, your experiences, or any topics you'd like to see covered in future videos. See you in the next video, and may your journey be filled with wisdom and wealth, both within and without.